Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Welcome to Livingston, where we invite local businesses, people, and organizations in to talk about what they are giving to our community. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals. As realtors and brokerage owners, we bring valuable insight into the local market and community every week.
Thanks for listening, and welcome to Livingston. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of our podcast, Welcome to Livingston. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals.
And we are so excited about our episode today, but before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to mention our sponsor, Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union. He is a great lender. Please check him out. His links are in our show notes, and we would just, check him out, and he's great to work with.
Right. We highly recommend him for any of your lending needs for a home.
Yes. So today we have with us from Real Leverage Solutions, Megan and Lori. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Great. So you guys have a really interesting company and service, and I know it's been around for a little while. And why don't you go ahead and let us know, how would you explain it?
Real Leverage Solutions is it's a company that's here to support real estate agents. So, we started as transaction and listing coordination because that's what we saw a big need for at the time. And then as things sort of evolved in the industry, we also opened it up to social media as well because that was something that looked like agents really needed. So basically, we're here to help agents. We say, we take care of stuff behind the scenes so that they can be the star of the show.
It's pretty awesome. And the nice part is there's some commonality with other businesses. So it seems like you guys are branching off and helping with some of the social media for other non-real estate businesses as well. Is that?
Yeah. So, it's always great to work together, and it's great when people can work together. So we've had some people in other industries that reached out and were interested in the social media. So we have like an estate planning attorney, and we have a renovations guy, but all those things are connected where these people can also network with each other.
That is awesome. And it's amazing because people that aren't in real estate or that they don't own their own business, they don't realize how much goes on behind the scenes. And you guys are able to just take care of so much of that to take it off the plate for people so that they can concentrate on the things that they need to.
Yeah, we want it to be a seamless experience for the client, and we want the realtor to be able to have as much face time with the client as they can. So that's why we're taking care of behind the scenes.
And really, real estate agents aren't, they have to do so much. You're really a business owner or real estate professionals, even mortgage lenders. And so having to get out there and get new clients doesn't leave you a lot of time for the back scenes of paperwork or marketing yourself. You're not a marketing professional, and that's where we come in. Megan has a background in marketing and social media marketing, and so that's really taken off because people are seeing success. And that's, us studying how the algorithm works, how everything works. They don't have time for that, so that's really been helpful.
Awesome. Well, tell us more a little bit about that background with social media.
Yeah, so I actually went to school for film and television, so, very experienced with, filming and editing and that kind of thing. And then I actually worked in reality TV for about 7 years. So I was in reality TV casting, which, people always say, how do they cast reality shows? It's not that much different from real estate in that you're out there looking for hot leads, right? Depending on the show, you're going to find people who are going to be a good fit for that show, whether it's cold calling, going to businesses, meeting them in person, or what we had great success with was social media marketing.
Great. And I feel like in this day and age, that's really where things are headed. Everybody is on social media.
I'd say at this point, it's not really an option. It's pretty much a necessity. I mean, unless, even with a solid referral business, I think social media is just always going to be a plus because the first thing people are going to do is probably look you up. They're going to want to see what you look like. They would love to see a video of you. They just want to feel like they know who they're meeting before they meet you.
Right. And in terms of technology, I feel like real estate way back in the day that I heard stories of agents saying, I'm not going to get a website. That's not something that's needed in real estate. And now here we are.
And we always promote, of course, in real estate, they teach you cold calling or door knocking, all that, and that's great. But with social media, you're in front of thousands. So you have that opportunity to get them to know you, like you, trust you, because you're in front of them, telling them, things they might have questions about, you're answering those questions. Because one thing we do is get in depth with who is your ideal client and what voice do you want to have out there for your ideal client? What questions would your ideal client have? You're able to answer those. They didn't realize that, hey, you know what? Yes, that's something I really need to know. So then when they are ready to buy a house, they're thinking of you.
Right, because then you're able to craft to find the people that you want to work with.
Absolutely.
That matches what you're looking for.
Yeah, and usually the person that you want to work with is similar to you.
Exactly.
So, yes.
Right, and one of the things I was going to say about, realtors getting into the social media or business owners in general, it's amazing how often you see someone's headshot and it's from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or you hear their voicemail and their voice doesn't sound like that anymore.
Yes.
Because that's from 15, 20 years ago. So, it's such a big thing that in social media, when we meet clients sometimes, they don't feel like they're meeting us for the first time because they're seeing us online and they're looking at those things. So it makes it much more seamless and comfortable at that point.
Yes, they feel like they know you. So you sit down with them and they're like, well, you've answered a lot of my questions. I've watched you. And, just being behind the scenes, we talked about that before this started, just like filming you behind the scenes or with your kids or whatever you're doing, they can relate to you. So wouldn't you want to hire someone you can relate to? So
Yeah, because what you guys bring in is the authenticity that that person has.
Absolutely.
And you make it visible to people that are potentially their clients.
yes.
Yeah, they say people don't buy from businesses, they buy from people, right? So if you
Yeah.
can make a connection with them ahead of time, like they say, oh, there's a million realtors. Why would I choose you? Oh, well, we have a lot in common. I watched your videos and you were speaking directly to me. I feel like I know you. I feel like I'm comfortable with you already. And that's the power of social media. And, you can do that with organic social media marketing, which means you're keeping your costs down and yet you're still reaching thousands of people.
Right. So, and in that, and I want to talk about the other aspects of your business as well, but in the social media thing, how do you get past getting someone started? Because there's people that are like, I am not going to get in front of a camera.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of our clients
We hear
said
that all
that
the
to me
time.
at the beginning, and it is tough to I'm in front of the camera right now and I feel nervous, so I completely understand. But a big thing I like to do, especially, when we're filming, is to make it more conversational. We used to give people scripts and they got very stuck in their head about repeating the script exactly. And really all you're doing is talking about a subject you're already an expert on.
Right.
So now all I do is I just give prompts or I say, here's some ideas. What's some questions you've been asked recently? What's a story that happened recently where you saved a deal or you overcame a hurdle? That's what people want to hear in your own voice.
And you're so right about that, though, Don. They get so nervous about being in front of the camera, but that is where we have really mastered that because just like Megan said, we'll sit in front of them and just ask them questions. They're the professional. They know what they're talking about. If you give them a script, all they're worried about is saying the script. But where we come in is where we just talk to you, have a conversation. We know what you want to say to your ideal client because we've already established your ideal client, and then they take off. They're comfortable. So there's always that little, I don't look good, this and that. But you know what? People aren't buying that. They want you to help them with their needs. So
Right.
Yeah. And everybody has such different personalities that, of course, they're going to want somebody that they feel comfortable with.
absolutely.
Right. So I wanted to get back to the behind the scenes stuff that you guys do and everything. So you have an agent that they're feeling overwhelmed or they just don't know where they're at with their paperwork. We've all seen the, in any field of like, they're just behind, right? How does someone get started with you guys and what's that process look like for somebody?
Yeah, so if someone wants to get started with us, they can give us a call, send us an email, smoke signal, reach out. We're going to connect and we're going to see where you're at. Throw us everything you got right now and, let us sift through it. Let us organize that. We have a great lead transaction coordinator, Anna, who's just amazing at taking a whole bunch of things from a whole bunch of different places and putting them together. We use Trello boards a lot to organize the transactions, where they're at, what we're still missing, that kind of thing. And then, of course, we're always speaking closely with the agents and working closely with the agents to make sure that we're running the business the way they want it to be ran. So as far as the client experience, it should be seamless. We're just here as an added support.
And then it's kind of customized because I'm sure each agent wants things done differently.
That's the number one thing that I wanted when I started this business, was to make sure that it was customized. I think, there's a lot of people who do a lot of similar things. But one thing that I thought was missing was a lot of customization to the client. It was a lot of, hey, here's the way we do things. But as having been an agent myself, everybody has their own quirks, their own way they communicate with their customers. This is how you got good at what you did, right? So we're here to help you do it the way you want it done.
And yeah, we will customize the communication, because I think one thing we do here is I'm a control freak. I'm afraid to give up control.
Yeah.
And that is our favorite client, because after they work with us, they realize that our communication is top notch. We have the Trello boards that they can always go on and see where we are in that transaction, who's been communicated with, who hasn't. And what's great is we have packages where maybe you don't want us to do it all, but we also have our top package, which most agents take, and that is just doing everything but going on the actual appointment. And that way they're free to go on another appointment, because we're handling everything. But we are really pride ourselves in that top-notch communication, so they know what's going on, because I totally understand they want to.
Absolutely. And we can and want to speak firsthand to that, because we did have a situation years ago now at this point where we were sort of left in the lurch and leaving on vacation, and we probably only had, I think, a week and a half, or it wasn't even 2 weeks. And so I think you guys were kind of newer at this at the time even, but obviously very experienced, having background and so forth. So we reached out to you and again, we were in a real panic. Unbelievable. Like, in terms of the level of our expectations, at least for me, and I think for you too, you guys blew it away.
You guys did our transactions for almost a year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we can speak firsthand to anyone out there that, A, it is customizable. They'll work with you in the way that you want to be worked with. Mm-hmm. I am one of those persons that's a control freak. Mm-hmm. I like to write my own addendum. There's certain things. So I'd say every agent out there has the areas that they like. But then even myself, I found as you get into it of like, no, maybe I don't have to do that. It makes this part easier or this part easier, because you have so much on your plate that as you get busy, it's harder to keep that organized.
Right, and then nothing falls through the cracks because we're behind there taking care of it.
Exactly,
so.
Because of communication, absolutely.
Yes.
That would be kind of a number one at the bullet. But then it was seamless because it was all behind the scenes. We were the ones with the client-facing contact, but to have that safety net was absolutely phenomenal. So
yes, and you have a team behind you.
Yeah.
So if you're a single agent, even, because we have teams we work with, we have single agents. If you're a single agent and you're starting to get busier and busier, you have a team behind you, and you can say that too. You can say, I have this team behind you. As a client, I probably feel really comfortable with that, So definitely.
So so thank you for all that you guys do.
Oh, because our pleasure, and it was a pleasure working with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do think even if you are great at everything, if you are that person who's great at everything, you're going to reach a ceiling where you're so great, you're going to get busier, and then you just won't have the time to do it all. There would just be pieces that you need to get up just in order to grow.
Right.
Well, and two, you guys have a family, and you do, I always watch, your socials, and you do a lot with your family. When you start getting busier and busier and you're handling everything, you don't have time for your family. And that's where we also come in, because, hey, you didn't get into real estate to be working 24/7. You'd like a little bit of free time and be able to do things you want to do. So there's where we've really helped a lot of people with that too.
Right.
Well, in true real estate fashion, most of our clients get busiest when they go on vacation. So it's nice because
you guys probably know that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, if you don't have enough business, book a trip.
Absolutely. Yep. And that happens all the time, and they know that they can still sit back and enjoy themselves because we're going to be taking care of it.
100%. And, for people with you guys doing the socials and such too, it's amazing because you could have someone that, as they get you guys doing the behind the scenes stuff and then they start working on the socials, then all of a sudden that's bringing in more business, but then they already have that other part taken care of. So you're a step to get into that scaling,
right?
Where you're able to do it, where without the help, you're going to hit that ceiling quicker. You're not going to have the network behind you to handle what's coming in.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have to leverage yourself to grow. So, We're Real Leverage Solutions. We help you leverage yourself.
Exactly. And it's nice that there's a couple of you guys. So
Yes.
in terms of, I mean, do you have certain people managing certain clients or certain people focused on certain activities, or how do you have that all arranged?
Yeah, so I head up the social media. We have a great girl, Anna, who heads up the transactions, but our platinum packages actually include a lot of marketing as well. That's one thing, if you get us for platinum listing, we're going to help you market that listing as well. So we're always all three working really close together, and we worked really hard to put a lot of systems in place to make sure that it was seamless. We can always see everything everyone's doing in real time. The agent can always come in and see what we're doing, so everybody's on the same page, no matter what they're working on.
And we were definitely very impressed that you were able to come in as quickly as you were and just pick right back up. Like, we kind of thought it would be a clunky transition, but it was not. It was really seamless.
Yeah, we worked hard on those systems for sure. And, they evolve, as things go on. But we really wanted to have a really comprehensive checklist and plan in place. So once we start tackling your stuff, most of our questions have been answered.
Yeah, I think that's why we get so in depth with our questionnaires, whether it's social media or transactions. So we want to know exactly where you want us and what you want us to do, and what your business looks like. So I think
I have an extremely comprehensive checklist for my new social media clients that I know scares some people, but I really want to know everything I can possibly know, because that is highly customized as well.
Yeah.
And I want to be speaking in their brand voice, and I want to be speaking to their ideal client.
Right, because a lot of times they don't know what their brand is. Then.
Sure.
And that questionnaire is part of you figuring out and then showing them, no, you had a brand here. You just didn't know you had it.
That's so true. Yeah.
so
I
true.
think people learn a lot about their
funny.
business when they fill that out. Absolutely.
It's kind of an exploration process.
Well, everybody goes, who's your ideal client? Well, anyone, anyone. Okay, sure. You could take anyone, but that's not your ideal client, right? And, hopefully as you grow your business, you're working more and more with your ideal client.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
So for agents that are doing the social media and such, what platforms should they be on? Do you get them on platforms? How does that work?
Yeah, so, we can post to pretty much any platform, and some people say, hey, let's just post everything everywhere, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do think if you're working to grow your social media and you're wanting to turn that into leads, I say pick two and really focus on those and become an expert on those. Or I'll work with you to design material that's going to be ideal for those platforms. So, let's say we really want to grow on Instagram. We can put that on TikTok. We can put that on YouTube as well. But really, we're going to be focusing this on your ideal client who's on Instagram, and we're going to be trying to grow that channel and collect those leads from there.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons to have an expert, because when you're doing it yourself, you're like, oh, this one just takes pictures. Oh, this one is, that there's different rules on the different ones, and you just can't go and make one piece and say it's going to go everywhere, because it doesn't work everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. And of course you want to do well on everything, but pick two, focus on them, just continue to make those better and better. And then you can always branch out as time goes on, as you grow a following, as these are starting to turn into leads, as you're seeing what works. Now do we want to do some longer form video and maybe go to YouTube? That could happen down the line.
So really it's more about depth than about breadth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's absolutely right.
And we do talk to them about, it's not how many followers you have, but why we get so precise on what your ideal client is, because we want to use call to action to get that client to engage. So that's really where that social media works for you.
Great.
So
Yeah, that's a great point. If you have 1 million followers, but 99% of them don't live in Livingston County and they're not looking to buy or sell a house, then it's not really working for your purposes.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what kind of results are some of the realtors that you're doing this for getting?
Yeah, people are getting great results in that they're getting leads, they're getting buyers, they're getting sellers, they're getting calls, and of course, social media can't do all the work once you're connecting with them, but they're getting in front of new faces, they're getting people reaching out, they're getting interest, and then that's giving them the opportunity to be talking to hot leads right away.
Right. And truly hot, truly warm here, because they've already picked them. It's not a
Exactly.
matter of they've called and they're the ones that answered the phone, or they clicked on Zillow or something like that. Like, it literally is somebody that says, this is who I want to talk to.
Right. They've already interviewed you. They watched
Yes.
that channel, or they saw that and
Yeah.
they said, yeah, this is the one I want.
or even referrals, because we have some clients that their friends and family say, wow, what happened? You're really showing up everywhere on social media. And, I love what you're saying. And so then they think of somebody that might be looking, and, it really works out. So we do have a lot of happy clients as far as that goes.
Right.
Excellent. Top of mind.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
we
all
get that
about
all
marketing.
the time. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see you everywhere now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing for people that may be listening that aren't in real estate, that are entrepreneurs that own their own business. It works across businesses. I mean, anybody that has a business, they need to get their voice out there to people. And it's all about connecting with the right people, because even like for a small business, a downtown business, their demographic is just as important or more important than a real estate agent, because they need people that want their product.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. And why are they going to choose you over someone else?
It's,
Because
just
they've
like,
heard from you.
just like our estate planner. We have to make that interesting and fun. And,
Right.
that's not really interesting and fun sometimes for people, but we have really worked with him and we make it fun. We do some videos that are just entertaining, and, he's just a regular guy, not just an attorney. And then we do some that's very informative. And I learn every time we sit there and do a video with him. So
And I'll bet you outside of that, there's people that wouldn't even know he existed.
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
But it's getting that story out.
Or wouldn't know that they need these types of things.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And some of the things that, you think you're covered in, he's talked about as far as, your estate and your family. It's very interesting and you really learn a lot. So, yes.
So for all these businesses out here with a story to tell,
Absolutely.
it sounds like you guys may be a great resource, and it'd be worth their while to reach out and find out how you'd be able to help.
When you're an expert in something, you sort of, think, oh, that's too basic, that's too simple. But really, just like with real estate or with estate planning or any of it, the average person isn't thinking about this 24/7. They don't have the knowledge that you do. They might not know these tips, these tricks, this advice. And once they start hearing that, they may click for them. Oh, I do need this, or I should call this person, or I want to find out more at least.
Right? Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, I know you tend to have different events monthly. I know our episode here is coming out in August, but certainly, this is something that may show up later on if you,
Yes.
put
Well,
it out there.
Don mentioned people don't like to do videos. So
Yeah.
we found that with our clients. So we started a program called Reels for Deals. And it does two things. We meet at different businesses and we do it twice a month, the first and third Wednesday of every month. And we'll pick a business, ask if we can come in and film. And we usually have 2 to 6 people, and we give them the scripts. And if they want to use those, they can, or they can bring their own. And then we will film them, and then Megan will edit the reels, and they can use them on any platform. And most of them are our clients, but if you just want to come out and try, she will edit the first reel for free. But then we also do a reel with the business and promote the business. So they're very excited for us to come in and do that. So, and like I said, we do it twice each month. And then we also have a happy hour that we do. And again, we go to different businesses in the area. And that's just for real estate professionals to come in and just kind of hang out. If they want to network, they can, but that's not really the agenda. It's just like, hey, real estate can be a tough business. Why don't you come and relax? And, we all get together and, like-minded people and just hang out and talk. So,
Yeah,
and that's
that
usually once a month.
collaboration.
Yeah, first Thursday of every month.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And we also do Con Ed classes as well. So for any brokers or businesses out there that want to have a continuing ed, we do those as well.
Great. You guys are such a great resource.
We try to be. We try to be. We try to be
You're
the
very
support
busy.
system. We are, just like you guys.
Yeah.
Because our podcast, it's kind of what it's morphed into, is to take some of these small businesses right here in our area, lift them up, give them a voice. That's made us so happy to help recognize them, but have them be recognized by people that maybe were not aware that they were even there.
I learn a ton from your guys' pod. I've always see you on social media scrolling through, and I said, I'm going to watch that. Oh, you always get a good, interesting clip of, something I maybe even would have thought to look deeper into.
Yeah.
Or Livingston County is growing, so the fact that you guys bring businesses in, there's a couple that I'm like, oh, I didn't know they were there. So, so that's good.
Last week we had a restaurant came in. They actually brought in food.
Oh, nice.
So to any of the restaurants out there that want to be on the show, bring us lunch. We'll try out your menu.
It.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to put out, a bit of a variety of things periodically. And sometimes it's hard lining up talent, and that's a whole nother separate job too, on top of everything. But we work hard and try to have some, helpful, useful information for people. And, certainly this one, I think it's neat because it touches on a lot of layers. Like you don't necessarily have to be real estate. You can still be a small business and so forth. Or
absolutely.
Right.
We're here to help. And again, it's all in Livingston County, right? Let everybody connect and network and see how we can help each other and lift each other up.
Right.
Now, you've been all over the place, Megan, because you've lived, out in California when you were doing that, touring the country too, but you came back here, and obviously, Lori's family to you. So you're, but what is it that's so special about Livingston County that just brings you back after going so many different places?
Yeah, I think there's just something great, I guess, about the place where you grew up and the place where, people. And, if you, yes, I've lived in a lot of big cities, but there's just something about a small town where, you go into a restaurant, see people, you go get your coffee and they know your order. I think that's a really great thing. I think it's just a great feling.
Livingston County is I think a warm, it's growing like crazy,
Very
but
much
it's still
so.
a warm atmosphere I've been owned other businesses. I was a gym owner, a health, fitness, personal training we did, and I managed a couple gyms. So I see people all the time. She always laughs as we go in anywhere, and they're like, hey, I used to take your classes, which just makes me feel good because they remember them from 20 years ago,
Right.
So
clearly you were very memorable.
Well,
Did a good
and
job.
just like we were just such a close-knit group,
Right.
Even though it was at different locations. Fitness is something very personal, and just like buying a home is very personal, or you're running your own little business, very personal. It just makes me feel good that people still remember the changes that we made in their lives, and that's what we're still trying to do. And I think we just are people that love to be of service, and that's why we really like this business.
Well, we can tell that you're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it is the passion about it. And you have to be very personable because you're bringing people in. One, you're taking care of people's paperwork, which, as anyone knows that doing the paperwork, we're very protective of it.
Absolutely.
To hand it over to someone else and to
Rightfully
trust
so.
the other person to take care of it.
Right.
And then to kind of disarm people to get them to come in front of a camera because it's not easy.
Right.
But to anyone out there, I would say the more that you do it, the easier it is. And it's that whole, it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Not at all.
It's better to just get something out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
We love you guys because you came to our social media class that we were doing, and then you were out just filming away, and you did a great job, So
it does get easier, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
Authentic is best.
yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yes, your classes were always very helpful and interesting, and I like that you always keep following up. Sometimes life is busy, I don't get a chance to come to things, but I don't know if our listeners, is that something they can relate to, of like when there's somebody that's always there for you and they invite you and they include you and they're just so warm and welcoming. That's these guys to us for sure. Like these guys are, we knew them when they were agents. They shifted over and started this whole other business, and they've just hit it out of the park. And you guys are just really such a great resource in our industry.
Oh, thank you.
And it is appreciated. Even I'm not sure how much you told that. Right?
We always think of you guys when we're
Yeah.
doing events and that because you're a big part of the community, and we just
Thank you.
and you helped us in the beginning of our real estate careers and stuff, and so we'll always have a place in our hearts for you guys. So we always
thank
call.
you.
Thanks. Roots run
Yep.
deep.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. Yeah.
And we know Anna behind the scenes, what an amazing
Yes,
job she
yes,
does.
she
you know?
is outstanding.
Just to make sure to mention that when she hears
Absolutely.
this, awesome.
She's incredible. She's so happy that we didn't make her come in front of the camera. But yeah, she is awesome at what she does.
When she says behind the scenes, she wants to be behind.
That's
the
where
scenes.
she wants to stay.
That's so talented, and knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, it's nice that you guys have that tight team.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's awesome. I think it's cool. We're a women-centric
Yes.
business as well. We're all local, and I think that's really important.
We would
Wonderful.
agree. For
Yes.
sure.
So if someone is to get started with you, how do they get a hold of you? How do they do it? How does that process go?
I think the easiest way would just be to go to our website, realleveragesolutions.com, and book a discovery call with us. It's very easy to do on there. That's going to give you 30 minutes to chat with us about all your wants and needs, and then we're going to design a plan around that.
Either with the social media or with the transactions. So
Excellent. Yeah, I like that concept of a discovery meeting, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see, let's find out what your needs are and then where we can help.
And we'll make sure to put that in the show notes so that way, especially those listening in the car, will be able to.
Because sometimes they know what they need and sometimes they have no idea, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so
a lot
true.
of times, yes.
They're pulling their hair out and they're just help.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So-
That's usually the thing, help. And then it's like, okay, let's figure out what that looks like for you.
Yes.
Consultative and collaborative.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just, honest to goodness, that sort of background, all of a sudden kind of a safety net that maybe somebody doesn't have right now.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you're growing your business, you're in that momentum. You're like all of a sudden, I'm super busy, so we're there to just catch you. Absolutely. So
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time to come in today to find out more about you, to, kind of explain all that you do to our listeners. And this has been really fun to really
Thanks for having
explore
us.
all
yes,
that.
thank you so
Really
much for having
love
us.
the
We appreciate
solution
it.
stuff.
And we would suggest anyone out there, please check them out. Go to their website, check them out on the socials. You can see a little bit of what they do out there. They have events every month and such. So again, thank you for coming today. And we just really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And welcome to Livingston.